If you have a single block of text on Amazon, people open it up and they do just like they do when they're on Facebook. It doesn't matter how cute the puppy is that your friend just got, you don't read it. Nobody reads giant blocks of text. Whereas the description that I wrote, if we look here, and I'm just going to black it out so people can get a sense. You know what? I'll give this a read. It's not going to be hard.
I'm on a mission to help struggling authors in a deeper way than ever before in a series I like to call Book Rescue, sponsored by Fiverr. On today's Book Rescue, we're working again with author Robert G. Culp, this time course correcting his book descriptions. In our last video, we went to work on his keywords. Now, this is just briefly what we ended up going through. Problem was, he was using keywords that were just a little too short and not very specific enough. And also, he wasn't leveraging the fact that he can assign 10 different categories to his ebook and to his print book. So we got that all dialed in. So why are book descriptions so important? Where everyone judges a book by its cover, they will also furthermore scrutinize whether to buy the book or not based on the book description. And if you don't get that right, then, well, you probably lose out on a potential reader. So you gotta have that book description written just right, also known as copywriting, the art of actually selling a product through a book description. What was fundamentally wrong with Robert's current book descriptions? Well, it tells and doesn't necessarily show, and most people have issues with telling and not showing. Don't tell what's in the book. That's what they'll pay you for. You need to show them. Enter Brian Meeks. Now, Brian Meeks is a prolific fiction and nonfiction author who's wrote thousands of authors' book descriptions and also wrote the self-publishing masterpiece on copywriting called Mastering Amazon Descriptions. Let's check out what advice he shares with Robert.
This is the original synopsis. Meet the students of Knight Academy, a top secret government school where teenagers are taught to fight the mystical, and cursed dangers that surround our world. So that's pretty good intrigue. Jason Gardner is 14 and had lost everything important to him. His mother is in an enchanted sleep while his grandfather has been missing for years. Julie Brooks comes from a family torn apart by magic. Her father was once a chief sorcerer for the government and succumbed to his inner demons, killing Julie's brother. Nora Roman is a princess from another realm who has never seen the modern world. Nora craves to belong in this new, different world and its possibilities. Can these three teens find a saving grace in each other after meeting at the academy, or will the development of an epic romance send them spiraling down even further? That is a synopsis, and that's what I asked for. But if it were on Amazon, that's an enormous amount of minutia. So much detail in there that it's like cheesecake. I don't know if you like cheesecake. I love cheesecake. The reason it is served in really thin slices is that if you took a piece of cheesecake that was the size of a normal piece of apple pie, it's just too much. But that little slice, it's heavy. And so that's kind of what we're going for with the description. The other thing is a giant block of text. If you have a single block of text on Amazon, people open it up and they do just like they do when they're on Facebook. It doesn't matter how cute the puppy is that your friend just got, you don't read it. Nobody reads giant blocks of text. Whereas the description that I wrote, if we look here, and I'm just going to black it out so people can get a sense. Look how lightweight that is. I'll give this a read. It's not going to be hard. So let's take a look at what I came up with. I always do this. I do 3 lines with 2 blank lines in between. Those 5 lines will be all that shows up above the read more on Amazon. And why that's important is that if you take out the blank lines, then you're going to land at the end of right here. So you're going to have this, and then you're going to land in the middle of a sentence. And that aesthetically is bad. And if it doesn't land in the right spot, they may just stop reading at that point. Whereas, if all they have above the fold is this, when he learned that magic was real, he began to trust the old man. But was he ready for the Knight Academy? So, what I did there is a couple things. Who's the old man? Well, I could have explained that the old man was a friend of the grandfather, but that's minutia we don't need. The fact that there's an old man, the potential reader is already imagining all the stories they've seen. We know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is. We know who Yoda was. We understand that trope of this wise person, and we love it. The reason it's used over and over again is because it's a wonderful trope. So I put that in there. So already began to trust the old man. Who is it? And ooh, I like that in stories. And then the next line is a question. It is really challenging or nearly impossible for people to stop reading at a question because they're too curious. The question forces them to click read more. And we established that it's urban fantasy, but it's academy fantasy. And so people that are looking for an academy book, which is huge right now, that's even more points. So we've established a lot of things in those handful of words. Whereas if we go back to here, these are the first 5 lines. There's so much there. That's half a cheesecake right there. Nobody's going to dig into that. So you lose them before they even get a chance to discover that this might be something they're interested in. Now they click read more and they see the rest of it. At 14 years old, which helps establish the age of the character, Jason has 3 problems. I always imagine this in a movie narrator's voice. When he learned that magic was real, he began to trust the old man. But was he ready for the Night Academy? At 14 years old, Jason had 3 problems. Dun, dun, dun. His grandfather was missing. His mother was deathly ill. And he had a crush on a 16-year-old girl that was great with a sword. Okay. Now, in the story, the mother is, she's deathly ill, isn't entirely accurate. She's put into this magical sleep. That doesn't matter. We don't need accuracy. We need to convey that there's a problem with mom. He's concerned about it. We also want to know, where did the grandfather go? And, a crush on a 16-year-old girl. Okay, so that's adding that element of romance that a lot of urban fantasy readers are looking for. There are magical dangers hidden in the modern world. That is establishing that it's contemporary. They must learn to fight the threats. What they didn't expect was the soldiers of Osiris. And so that right there is intriguing. Who are the soldiers? We don't tell them. We just know that these soldiers arrived with the curse of an ancient relic. Ancient is a great word. It's a great hook word. Ancient relic is intriguing. Hovering over the school, 3 friends band together, but will they be able to find a solution in time? The clock ticks. You'll love this YA urban fantasy because it's a perfect mix of adventure and romance to keep you turning the pages. Get it now. This, of course, is the call to action, which is important because we expect as consumers that there will be a call to action. And if you don't have it, it's unsettling. It doesn't feel like you're done yet from the reader's perspective. And that's what we're doing. This is a Pavlovian response. It's the bell. Okay, you know what? You were hooked back when we said the grandfather was missing. We're done with the description. Go ahead and get reading. And so that's sort of top to bottom what we've got going on. And can you see how it's different from this one?
Yeah, definitely.
When you're on Facebook, and most people are on some form of social media, try to use stylistically this type of copywriting. If you read my posts of just me living life on Facebook, they look like this description. They're longer. Some of them are 500 words. Some of them are 1,500 words. But I can get 300 to 500 people to like and love them and a few hundred comments with a 1,500 word post on Facebook because I have hooks, thin paragraphs. I use a method called an open loop, which is, had a great day at the gym yesterday until this horrible thing happened, ... but I'll tell you about that later. That's an open loop. And then I talk about something and then I come back to the terrible thing at the gym, and it keeps them reading. And so using this methodology of copywriting and using it like a template, you absolutely can create descriptions that convert at 1 in 8 to 1 in 10.
Okay, so Robert,
Hey,
I got a surprise for you.
cool.
All right, so remember those pictures you took?
Yep.
Now you've got something that's a little bit more professional. We went over to Fiverr. I picked up pictures, sent it on over to them. They did some color correcting in it. They obviously cropped out the background, gave you something a little bit more like a canvas of some sort.
Awesome.
So what do you think, man?
Awesome. I'm always very self-conscious about myself on photo or anything because I'm always my hardest critic either way. So, but man, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Look awesome.
So what I would say is make sure you go and update your Amazon Author Central profile, get that picture put up there, and I would recommend anywhere that you're on social media, put that on up there, because people are going to start to know this name and know this face, and this is probably going to be the first picture, and even if you're self-conscious, at least it's something that's better. I'm going to tell you this than what you had where it was like before, it was like you were cut off, like no one can kind of see your face and get it to where they connect with you. So what do you think about this, man?
Awesome. They look great.
Yep, big thanks over to the folks over at Fiverr. If you've ever published anything, you know how hard it is to find great talent. And it can be even harder still to spot that talent on places like Fiverr. That's why we have a curated list of our favorite sellers on Fiverr, so it takes the guesswork out of it for you. Simply visit dalelinks.com/list for our curated list of Fiverr sellers. They say that when life hands you lemons, you're supposed to make lemonade. And there are some times that you don't get lemons. You just get a complete and total and utter shit sandwich. No sooner had we gotten off the discussion with Brian Meeks about book descriptions, Robert was just absolutely geeked up, but he'd admitted to me that he'd had very little sleep over the past week or so because he was tending to his dog, Scooby, who had the bone cancer. He'd shared this in the very first episode of Book Rescue, and I really liked his mission to succeed in this business because it meant that he could help out his dog. Sadly, Scooby did not make it, and on behalf of the whole gang here at Self-Publishing with Dale, Book Rescue here, we would like to dedicate this entire episode to Scooby and his memory. And if it would be of no bother to you, we have left a link to a charity that you can be able to donate in Scooby's honor. That link will be inside the description down below.
And that night, I was sitting down there with him. I figured he was going to go that night, and I just sat there and I talked to him. I know it's going to sound weird, but I was talking to him about when he was a puppy, how he was born, that everything that happened that day and everything he had been through. And he looked at me, just laid his head on my shoe. I was trying to go get some sleep. Told Mom, I said, I've been with him as long as I can. I think he should be okay at least sometime tomorrow morning. Well, my mom woke me up, told me that he had passed away right before, a little bit before she got him down there. I'm still, even though he's gone, I'm still up almost every night until about 3 or 4 in the morning, just because it's hard to even get that image out of my mind.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you sharing such an emotional thing here and allowing me to, be on your journey. This is, to me, I think it's just absolutely incredible that any person would have given up by now. What was it that pushed you through? Like, what was that one thing that kept you going despite all of the odds being stacked against you?
Me and my mom, we gotta keep soldiering through. We're really all each other has, in this.
Yeah.
It's, me and her against the world sometimes. It feels like it's life. You just gotta keep going on. I mean, don't get me wrong, if anything ever happens to my, the dog, the mama dog of them, or my mom or anything,
yeah,
definitely gonna be a lot worse, even more crushing. But you just gotta keep going on. And plus, faith in my religion. I'm an avid Christian. You can even see that in some of my novels that I write. There is a big spiritual presence in some of that, and I like to definitely advocate for that. It helps me. You gotta have faith that eventually, no matter what life throws at you, you keep going. You don't give up. You just go, because I look at it this way: everyone has something horrible or crappy going on in their lives. So a lot of people just won't even say what's going on with them, but they're still going through it, even though they don't vocalize it or anything. So,
yeah,
even though people are different or separated, we're kind of all in this together in life, just one thing after another. Keep soldiering on.
Despite all of his personal hardships, Robert continued to push on. I literally allowed him. I said, hey, if you need to take some time off, but he wasn't feeling that. He is really dedicated and devoted to making this work. And so that's one of the reasons why I just love this guy. Armed with the new understanding of better copywriting for book descriptions, Robert got to work and finished up all 5 of his book descriptions. All right, so let's go ahead into book 2. It seems like the natural progression for us to hit. So after one of their own had been possessed, they fled to a magical kingdom, but will its queen be their salvation or their destruction? I like it. Find some way that you could probably get this to where it's shorter to like say 5 to 6 words. I like this one. They fled to a magical kingdom. Great. But will its queen be their salvation or their destruction? Really good hook. I feel like it could probably be shorter, but this right here is pretty doable. Book 3, the Trinity. After Nera Roman died, the beast, I'm wondering if after Nera died, the beast was freed, or maybe we go, I'm gonna leave this up to you. So for instance, I pull out any last names because it's honestly, it could be Joe Schmo. We don't care. It's Joe. So let's just go with that. But I'm gonna leave it up to you on whether you want to leave that there or not. I don't think it's gonna take away if we leave it in. So, but for consistency though, if we're going to pull out all last names here, maybe after Nera died, the beast was freed. Will her friends survive his wrath? Love it. Great hook, dude.
Thank you.
Julie lost her best friend, her mentor, and her body all in one day. Dude, wait a second. Wait a second. Between this and this hook right here, you've got me really, really hooked. You'll love this younger, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you use the same hook on the other ones. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
hey, it's not broke. Don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the omnibus. This one probably should have been a little bit easier for you since, you already had like the one done for you and the other two. So when an ancient beast manipulates time, a group of unlikely friends must rally together. But just what, who? Okay, so this right here is a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to highlight that, play around with that a little bit. I know you've got it in you. It's going to take some work, buddy. So let's not try to rush it. Now, this was the one I got stumped on here. I remember reading this before. 2 dangerous star-crossed lovers, an eternally young sorceress, an unstable genius, a traitor looking for redemption, a troubled knight from another realm. It seems almost like you're kind of vomiting character types into a paragraph. So figure out some way that you can kind of work this into complete statements. Okay, so this one right here, I remember seeing this just before we got on here. Way too long. When the boy in her dreams beckoned her to the mirror, she never thought the world she knew would be lost forever. Now, how will she survive the mysterious and magical realm of Mirrorville? I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, too long.
Got to cut it. Yeah, we got to get right to it. Join us for this journey over the coming months here on Book Rescue and find out what all we have in store for Robert. I'm Dale R. Roberts, and this has been Book Rescue, sponsored by Fiverr. You get to see the full cover like that.
Oh, man. Okay, that's my favorite one. No, that one is probably the best one I've seen yet. I love that one. It looks so freaking cool. I love it.